Hey y'all, it's Michelle from WhimsyandBling. So how are you all doing? Today we are going to have a little bit of a very messy card that we are doing. So these are the cards, and they are the similar technique. It's like a faux kind of watercolor-ish thing. And if possible, I will go ahead and try to include a little screenshot of how badly I got ink all over my hand. It was like, tell me you've been creating without telling me you've been creating kind of a post. So these are both the same technique. This one was not as diluted as this one, and this is the one that got all the ink on me. So that is what we are going to be working on. So let's go ahead and get things prepped because it is kind of messy. And we're going to do them both at the same time. Let me walk you through how it's going to be done, and then we will get into it. So we're going to take this block, and first we're going to, just like this, once it's open, put it down to get the ink. And then we're going to move over to the blue with the space that's left and over to the green with the space that's left. We're going to flip it over. We're going to spritz water on it to dilute the ink. You can dilute it just a little. You can dilute it a lot. It doesn't really matter. It's to your preference. And we're going to do both of them at the same time so that we can then clean up our mess. And I'm really hopeful that I don't get ink specifically green all over the place. Probably are going to need to bring in our heat tool to help these dry. Okay, so here's what we're doing. Just like we said, we're just going to put this down and apply some pressure. And you can see how the ink is on there. See? And then we're going to come over to the blue, and then over to the green. Let's try that again. All right, we're going to move the inks out of the way. We're going to have our paper on standby, and we're going to make a complete mess. You know what I think I'm going to do? Instead of trying to turn it over and all that, which I think was my problem when I got all inky, we're going to go ahead and just spritz to dilute it. I'm so glad I got that. And then we're going to take our paper to the block. Oh, I didn't get as much blue on it as I wanted to. Okay. You can see it kind of runs a little bit, and that's okay. I'm going to take, I'm really trying hard to not make a mess. Just dab it a little bit. Now, I'll be honest with you, this is not watercolor paper. You should probably use watercolor paper. I did not have watercolor paper readily available. So we're going to clean off the block using our chamois. And then we are going to do the exact same thing again. You can see I'm already green. It's okay. It's okay to be green, right? Here's our yellow. Here is our blue. And here is the green. Now, I don't think that got a decent coverage of the green, but I'm not going to stress about it. We are going to continue on, and I'm going to hold my paper towel up a little bit to try to not get everything, but I'm going to dilute this more than what I diluted that. Now, let's see about getting it more up here. Just trying to get the ink onto the paper, and you can tell paper is now curling, and that is okay. We will dry it. See, and every time you do this, it's going to come out different. So I'm going to take this little mess that I have now created. Going to put it to the side. I'm going to leave this for just a minute, and we're going to come over here. There's going to be some noise here. I'm sorry. I'm going to heat up my heat tool. Can't really see it much. No, there's the end of it. So I'm going to go over here and just dry this a little bit more so that we can stamp on it. And we are probably going to have to go ahead and put a block down on our cardstock once we stamp on it and adhere it to the layers, just to help it flatten out some. So that is, for the most part, pretty dry. Well, let's do this one. This one is really, really curled. Really, really curled. Really, really wet. Again, using water paper would be so much better than the regular cardstock. The colors would be more vibrant. It would, obviously, it's made for water, so, but sometimes you want to create and you just have to use what you have available. And, well, that's where we are at. So, now, let's see, which one shall we work with first? Let's see. Let's do this one. Let's do this one as the replica of this. And you can see, even though I kind of did it the same way, it still looks different. And that is perfectly okay. Here, let me bring it back in so I know what I'm doing. We are using Memento Black ink. And I did not stamp off. Let's see. I should have had my piercing mat down there under it, but I didn't. So we are living on the wild side, y'all. The wild side. Now let's see. How about we get another one in here? We're going to end up ripping it, so I'm okay that it's hanging off. Let's see about this one. Ooh, that was really, really, really dark. I really don't like that. So we are going to do and yes, as I've explained before, my N in begin is a little off. So I'm just going to take my black marker and come back in and add it, and that will be fine. So now what we're going to do is we are going to, this is still wet on the back. We're carefully, because that part is really wet right there, we are going to carefully rip this. When you rip, you kind of want to tear towards you. And then I'm just flipping it to the other end, and I'm going to tear towards me, being mindful to not take off the sentiment that I just got on there. And then we are going to take, that's that one. Okay, let me find the green one, because I definitely want to add some green. That is not green. Okay, where did green go? Would this be green? that is green. Put it this way, it's green enough, okay? Going to go back into our garden green, and we are literally going to go and add some color and depth and texture to the edges. I'm not covering it all up. Okay, and now we are going to add it to our Mossy Meadow cardstock. And even though the green that we use is not Mossy Meadow, it still works. At least I think that it does. Sometimes you don't have to be matchy-matchy. We are going to go ahead and pop it up on dimensionals, provided I could find my dimensionals. And one right there. And now my take a pick tool. I love doing this stuff. It makes me feel like I'm a real artist. You know, I guess that's why I like stamping stuff, because somebody else has created the design, and then it's just up to me to put ink to it and paper, and I'm like, again, I feel like a real artist. Now this white spot here, it doesn't bug me. Now, if when you do this, it kind of bugs you, then please go ahead and fix it, but it does not bug me. And there we go. You could go ahead and add bling to this if you wanted to. I don't. The only thing, and I am going to critique this, the only thing that I don't really like is that particular tree is really, really dark. We're gonna have to let it go. We're not really looking at the bottom, but there's our first card. A little bit more on the vibrant side. Let's go and work on our second card. And on this one, we are going to be using, how about I close up my inks? Because you know what'll happen if I don't close them up. I'm going to be wearing them. I will have a rainbow of colors that I will be wearing. We are going to use crumb cake to stamp our images in. And let's go ahead and clean off our images. I went to recreate a card, and I had forgotten that I had stamped my trees in navy for that particular thing, and when I stamped it on my DSP, it was not the crumb cake that I wanted. I was so sad. So that'll have to be a how can I make this work kind of a thing. Do you ever do that with some of your creations? You're like, this did not work out the way I wanted it to. And then do you go and try to figure out how to make it work? All right. Let's do some big trees up here. My trees are always crooked. I know I've said that, every video when I've used this stamp set. I don't know why. I cannot get my trees to be not crooked. But they're just crooked. They're just a little crooked tree in the wood, and that's okay. So that's all we're gonna do. And I honestly think on this one, I don't want to just cut it down like I did here where I cut it straight. I am thinking about maybe ripping it again. Can you tell I really like the ripped look? This also might mean that I have to cut another piece of crumb cake cardstock to layer it on, but it'll be okay. Will this fit? Not really. Let's see. Do I have another piece? I do, so Let's see, how big is this? That is metric, I don't want that. So this is 2 1/4, and what was this? 2 1/2. It should work, but I'm not thinking that it will. It's the pieces right in here. So maybe if I did a 3-inch, we'll do a 3-inch piece. Okay, pause, talk amongst yourselves. All right, I'm gonna test it one more time. Yep, okay, that will work. And we need it to be 5 1/2. All right, we are almost done, folks. Pretty quick cards for being kind of messy, huh? Now, what I do want to do on this is I want to do a little bit of sponging. Make sure I have my right one. I want to do a little bit of sponging, not extreme. Just like a little taps. Just want to add a little bit. Just a little bit. Okay, I have to remember, less is more, less is more. Really, it is. Now we're gonna go ahead and put this on here. And this one we are going to attach with some liquid glue. And yes, I am kind of bending this because it is still warped. And I don't think on this one, we will go ahead and put it on dimensional. Y'all, I almost dropped that. I almost dropped it and had glue everywhere. All right. All right, I just have a block, just using it to help smooth it down. And I think I transferred some stuff on it. Oh, well, That's how we roll over here. It's how we roll. And we are going to use the Early Espresso card base. Oh, do you see what I should have done? I should have done the linen thread, and I didn't. Ooh, I can still do it on this. Whew, I'm so glad I saw that. So glad. And what I like to do is I like to add a little bit of adhesive, like a tape runner, like snail, to the back to catch my twine. So, let's see. We'll start it over here. Okay, and then, oh, we want to come up so that we can come up over here, and then that, and then in the middle. And then back over here. And you might have to just adjust those a little bit so that they are pleasing to your eye. This one needs to be adjusted just a smidge. And all right, we are not going to do this on dimensionals. But even for a messy card, this one I think packs some punch to it, and it's pretty quick. I mean, you do have to use the heat tool unless you want to let it dry, air dry on its own. Now, oh, I just have just the slightest little bit of hangover. So we're just going to trim that off. Okay. and really want to make sure it's adhered down. So there you go. Messy card. Was not as messy this time around. Using the Scenic Adventure stamp set. So here's the card that I had created. That was our inspiration. And here's a little bit of a different version of it. And this is the one from earlier, and that is the one that we created. So here they are. Sorry I wasn't in frame earlier. Thank you for watching. Sorry for that glare on the stamp set. Let's see. Thank you for watching. I appreciate it. And go ahead and just play with your inks and see what you can do. I mean, you know, really the sky's the limit. And you might do something that we've never thought of, and it would be great if you would share it with us. So until we can craft and create together next time, remember, be whimsy and add bling. Bye, y'all.